Welcome back, dear students. So, in today's class, we will discuss networking techniques. We will discuss two important networking techniques. The one is PERT and the second one is CPM. So, what is the full form of PERT and CPM? PERT is Project Evaluation and Review Technique and CPM is Critical Path Method. So now we will study how project planning and control activities are run through the networking. Fine. So what is networking? In networking, we study two important techniques, that is PERT and CPM. PERT and CPM are two widely used networking techniques that help in planning, scheduling and controlling complex project activities. Both techniques involve the use of network diagram to represent project activities and their interdependencies. In today's lecture, we will discuss about their definition, their methodology, the key concept, applications, advantages and disadvantages. So, here are some important definitions of networking. So, first of all, what is a network? A network diagram is a graphical representation of all the activities of a project, placing them in their proper sequence and with all interdependencies clearly established. The network diagram provides a complex picture of the project. In network diagram, you will be able to see the starting point of the project and the ending point of the project. So how we can go from starting point to ending point? So there are different ways to reach to the ending point. We will discuss it through a graphic. We will discuss and the picture will be more clarified to you, dear students, with the help of an example. So later on in the later slides we will discuss the network diagrams also. So what is activity? Actually, network diagrams are activity based and event based. So what is event and what is activities? Activities are the name. For example, receiving of raw material, that is activity A. Fine, but that activity will start from one starting point and it will end to an event. Fine. So to connect that activity, there will be a starting time and ending time. So we will give number to the starting time and we will allot the number to the ending time also. So when we will allot the numbers to the activities, those numbers are known as the event numbers. Those numbers are known as the events. So all activities will be connected through events. Activities are a specific task or work packages that need to be completed within the project. Each activity has a definite duration and dependencies on other activities. As we discussed that activity is joined with the events. So each activity has a definite duration and it is dependent on the predecessors or the successors. Now, what is critical path? As we discussed that there are so many ways, there are so many paths to reach the ending time. Fine. So, the path which is the most fruitful path, that is where the time required to reach that destination is minimum and resources required to reach the destination is minimum, that is the critical path. The critical path is the longest part through the network diagram and determines the minimum time required to complete the project. Any delay in activities on the critical path will directly impact the project's overall duration. Now we will study what is EST and what is LFT. EST means earliest starting time. LFT means latest finish time. Earliest starting time is the earliest possible start time of an activity, while latest finish time is the latest possible finish time without delaying in a project. Now, what are the floats or what are the slacks? Floats means when there is a floats means activities on the critical path having zero floats, are the floats or slack is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without affecting the project's overall duration. Activities on the critical path have zero floats. Now, the methodology of PERT and CPM. So, how to draw PERT and CPM diagrams? The first step is to identify the activities. The first step in PERT and CPM is to identify all the activities required to complete the project. Activities should be defined in terms of their deliverables, their duration or the days given in the question, and their dependency on other activities. When you will look at the questions of the network diagram, you will look 2 or 3 columns where you will see the successor and predecessor activities. Fine. Now the sequencing activity. Sequencing means by which the activity is connecting and going in a logical sequence to create a network diagram. So once activities are identified, their interdependencies are determined. Activities with interdependencies are linked in a logical sequence to create a network diagram. Estimating activity durations. When activity durations are estimated based on historical data, expert judgment, past project performance, or other estimation techniques, it is essential to consider factors such as resource availability, skills level required, and potential risk in the project. Now, the fourth point is constructing the network diagram. The network diagram is created by representing each activity as a node and connecting them with arrows to show dependencies. The network diagram provides a visual picture or representation of the project flow and facilitates critical path analysis. Now the fifth point is determining the critical path. So the critical path is determined by calculating the earliest start time and latest finish time for the activities. The critical path represents the sequence of activities that include start time and finish time, dates for each activity. The project schedule provides a timeline for executing and monitoring the project. Now, monitoring and controlling the project. During project duration, progress is tracked against the project schedule. Any deviation or delays are identified and corrective actions are taken to keep the project on a track. Regular monitoring and control ensures that the project stays within the planned timeline. This is the example of an arrow diagram. Activity on arrow or arrow diagrammatic method is known as the ADM or AOA diagrams. So here activities are represented by the arrow. It is also known as the arrow diagram. As we can see that. So when we are in previous slide we were discussing about the events. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Numbers given in the circle are known as the events. Event number 1, event number 2, event number 3. So activity A is starting from event number 1 and ending on event number 2. Activity B is starting from the event number 1 and ending to the event number 3. Here the activity C is starting from the event number 1 and ending to the event number 4 and it is taking 3 days time. During activity 4 is taking the activity D is taking 4 days duration. Fine. Activity F is taking 4 days duration and activity F is starting from the event number 3 and ending on the event number 6. So you can look from this diagram, you can understand that there is one starting point of the event of this diagram and there is one ending point. So event number 8 is the ending point. Now there are 3 ways: 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 1, 3, 6, 8, 1, 4, 7, 6, 8 to reach to the event number 8. So there are 4 ways, but which one is the critical path? So we need to calculate, we need to understand the concept of critical path. So What is the process for creating activity on arrow diagrams? We have to find out all the activities that start at node. Then we have to draw their finished nodes and put down the arrows between node 1 to those finished on the nodes. Nodes means the events. Put the activity letter or name, duration, estimated, associated arrow. Continue drawing the network diagram working from left to right. This is the rule of network diagram, that you have to move from left to right. Okay, you didn't need to move to the right from right to left. It will be wrong. So look for the burst and merge events. Burst event occur when a single node is followed by two or more activities, and the merge event occurs when two or more nodes precedes to a single event. Now, continuing drawing the project network diagram until all activities are included on the diagram that have dependencies. As a rule of thumb, all arrowheads should face towards the right, and no arrows should cross on a network diagram. So this is the example of CPM, that is critical path method. CPM is a network diagramming technique used to predict total project duration. So here you can see that this is the critical path for a project. In the series of the activities, determine the earliest start time by which the project can be completed. So what are the slacks and floats? So slacks and floats are the duration given on the activity node. Fine. So or the as we know, the floats or float or slacks of the critical path are 0. CPM is a network diagrammatic technique used to predict total project duration. A critical path for a project is the series of activities that determines the earliest start time by which the project can be completed. The critical path is the longest path through the network diagram and has the least amount of slack or floats. Slack or float is the amount of time an activity may be delayed without delaying a succeeding activity of the project finished. So how to calculate critical path? First, develop a good network diagram, then add the duration estimate for the activities on each path through the network diagram. Then the longest part is the critical path. If one or more of the activities on the critical path takes longer than planned, the whole project should be slipped unless the project manager takes the corrective action. So how to determine the critical path? So here you can see that in this diagram, as discussed, there are 4 paths A, D, H, J, B, E, H, J, B, E, J, C, G, I, J. Since the critical path is the longest duration is what? 16 days. Fine. So part 2 is the critical path. Since the critical path is the longest path through the network diagram, so path 2, B, E, H, J is the critical path for project X, because the floats for the given event will be 0 and critical path is the longest path of the network. So first draw the network diagram, write down the activities on the extreme left corner. Initial nodes are initial events. As we discussed, as we can see in the previous slide, that activity A starting from the event number 1 and ending on the event number 2. Fine. So initial nodes are 1 and ending nodes are 2. So here you can see for activity A in this slide, initial nodes is 1, final node is 2. For B, initial node is 2 and final node is 3. For C, initial node is 2 and final node is 5. And estimated duration are given. So how long will it take to complete each path and which path is critical path? So now when we make schedule trade-offs, we calculate free slacks, that is free floats, total floats, forward pass and the backward pass. Now the crashing activities and fast tracking activities are the techniques for shortening the schedules. Now updating critical path. Continually update project schedule information to meet time goals for a project. Then critical path can change as you enter actual starting time and finish dates. So as we know that the critical paths completely depend on the starting time and the ending time. So when we will change the data of the starting time and ending time, the critical path duration will automatically change. So what is PERT? PERT is a network analysis technique used to estimate project duration when there is a high degree of uncertainty about the individual activity duration estimates. So what is PERT average? It is optimistic time into four times most likely time. So when the most likely time is given, we take that in the multiples of the 4 and plus pessimistic time divided by 6. Then this is the example of the PERT. So what days should be influenced by the following activities? For example, so what is the probability to complete the project in the 8 days? What is the probability to complete the project in the 10 days? What is the probability to complete the project in the 24 days? So optimistic time, most likely time and the pessimistic time. Then the reality checks on the schedule. So first that we have to review the draft schedule or estimate completion dates. We have to prepare a more detailed schedule with the team. Then make sure that schedule is realistic and followed by all team members, and alter top management well in advance if there are schedule problems. So what are the advantages of PERT CPM? PERT and CPM improves project planning. It gives us the improved version of the project planning. So PERT and CPM provides a systematic approach to project planning and helping to identify and sequence activities effectively. Now, what is efficient? Now, the efficient resource allocation. This is the second advantage of PERT and CPM. So, by analyzing activity duration and dependencies, PERT and CPM assist in optimizing resource allocation and ensuring efficient utilization of the resources. It enhances the time management. PERT and CPM helps in enhancing duration accurately and identify critical activities that require special attention for timely completion. It improves the communication and the coordination. The visual presentation of activities and their interdependencies in the network diagram facilitates the communication and coordination among project stakeholders. Now, effective risk management. It is one of the most important advantage of the PERT and CPM. The PERT and CPM enables the identification of critical activities which can impact the project's overall timeline and allow us the proactive risk management facilities. Now, there are few limitations of the PERT and CPM. Estimating the activity duration can be challenging, especially for complex projects with limited historical data, uncertainties. Lack of focus on resource constraint. PERT and CPM primarily focus on the activity sequencing and project timelines and may not adequately consider resource constraints and availability. It is difficult in managing changes. Once a project schedule is developed using PERT and CPM, accommodating changes can be complex, requiring re-evaluation of the entire project plan. Inability of address external factors. PERT and CPM are primarily focused on the internal project activities. It is not focused on the external activities. So, such as market condition, regulatory changes or customer demands. So, these activities may not consider. Fine. So, this is the inability to address external factors. So, I hope the topic is clear to all of you. So, thank you very much.